Well, in the pursuit of perfection on the Mockingbird, I just found something I just don't like. It's this top corner of that door where it meets the fender. The clearance is an issue, and trying to repair it, I've been doing some brainstorming, some thinking. Yes, some smoke come out, but I got it figured out, I believe, and I'm going to show you why, where, when, and how, in case you're running into a problem like this, and how we're going to go about fixing it. First off, let me show you what the problem is. Now, that door gap is just absolutely beautiful. I love it. Everything's dialing in great, minus this corner here. This corner here actually is so close to that fender when I open it. Watch this thing here. I mean, you barely have enough to put paint on it. That's just not going to work. You know, as you start working on this car, something bumps around, something shifts, you're going to destroy the paint in the front corner. So I'm trying to figure out what I've done wrong. I've built several of these cars, but I've never had this issue before. Because let me show you a little something. Watching this door opens first. That corner actually tucks underneath the fender. That seems kind of odd. Because you know why? Well, let me show you a little something here. On this car right here. Now, this car here, same corner, we agree. I'll open the door and watch what never happens. It never goes underneath the fender. So something's wrong. Well, that's the question. Now, here's what has to be going on. That's an original 1969 door, original 1969 fender. And those are original 1969 hinges that were rebuilt by me. Now, this car, repop door and replacement hinges, original fender. So my theory, or what I think is going on, is we aren't pivoting on the same plane. I had to bring these doors out quite a bit to match the fender to get my hood gap where I wanted it. But the problem was that I thought about it. Let's see if I can't draw you a picture to figure out a little something for you here. But let's call the pivot for this hinge, illustrate here. This is that leading edge of the fender. I'm going to hopefully visualize what's going on. Now, if the door is, say, right here. This is our door, and this is where it's bolted at. So it pivots on this radius here. So door all the way in, this is our swing radius, right? Well, I had to adjust this door way the heck out. Well, now we're further from our pivot point, or our center of the circle. And then guess what's going to happen? We're still going to follow the same arc, but you see what's happening now? So as my door is swinging, it has to go under the fender to clear because I've had to adjust this door out so far. Crap. So what do? Have some ugly gaps? Or what do I need to do? I push the door back in, I'm not going to be on the same plane. Well, that drives me completely nuts. So the best theory or solution I have, let's see, here's a clue right here. Well, what we need to do then is, since I can't move the door back in to match the fender, my straight line here, I need to bring my pivot point out. Then we can adjust the door back in to match the fender. So you guessed it. I'm going to put some shims in behind that hinge to bring my pivot point out and see if we can bring our swing radius back into this position here. So hopefully this works. First step is, though, take the door back off. All right, door has been removed. And the other thing I've done now is I've traced out the exact outline of the hinge. That way I can get it positioned in the exact same spot, because literally all I want to do is bring this thing straight out to change my pivot point. I don't want to affect the height of the door because it'll mess up my gap here in the back and across the bottom. So next thing is going to be to remove these 4 bolts. Then I'm going to put these little shims behind each bolt as an experiment and make sure it's going to work. And if it does, maybe I'll come with a little more permanent. But again, I'm hoping this will be a solution. It seems that gravity's working just fine today. I put a little bit of something to make it sticky. I kept trying to hook these on the bolts, and of course gravity takes over and flips them out of the way. So I just need like another helping hand to help keep these things in place. So hopefully this will make it where I can get those in there more gooder. Like I said, I kept trying to fish them in there and go floop and fall right back down, especially as I was wiggling it around trying to get the other ones in there. So this is kind of a temporary experiment, and if this works, then maybe I'll trace out a template, something that thick, and cut down the material. That way I don't have to worry about just leaving these little shims in there. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm going to put the bolts back in it here, line up my marks, and see how that goes. All right, now here's that looks like now. I've got a space between the hinge and the A-pillar post here. Like I said, then it's going to make our pivot point further out. Doesn't look too bad. I'm not sure if I love those little shims as a permanent repair, but we'll find out if that's going to work first. Next thing, I'll go ahead and throw this door right back into place. Door being installed, line back up back here, line up across the bottom, looking pretty good. go ahead and pull the door open, and we're halfway. We're just now almost gonna go under the fender. And here's all the way. It just goes there, but I have a whole lot more gaps. I'm not worried about paint anymore on this case. So if I wanted to call it good, I could. But I'm still kind of wondering, was it really the door or the hinges going forward in case I run into this problem again? I probably will either, if I do new hinges, I might make some actual plates ready to go ahead and install those in there before I go through all the headache, have to take this door back off and wrestle it back on. But just wanted to share that with you. It is a solution, but really it's covering up a problem in manufacturing between either the door or the hinge. Well, so there you have it. I solved the problem. It's going to work. I'm not going to have a problem with paint chipping off the leading edge of the door. I can't say that I love it. I kind of wonder now if maybe I should have just rebuilt the original hinges. In the past is what I've done, but I had such great success on the 68 Great Pumpkin, and Louis did on his car with those hinges that I thought I'd follow suit because they're relatively inexpensive. So I guess technically it still could be the door, or I guess maybe a combination of the both. But either way, this is going to work. Can't say that I love it, but it's going to work. Now, I'll probably show you some behind-the-scenes details. The reason I share these things with you is it's worth putting the car all together. I'm going to say that probably 20 or 30 more times. I'm not really doing any body work yet. I'm still just test fitting panels and operating them to understand any kind of potential issues I may have when this car is done. Because last thing I want to do is put this thing back on the road and all the paint's chipping off the edges because I didn't check clearances or set gaps or adjust body panels the best that I possibly could. Now, granted, this consumes lots of time. It really hasn't changed a lot since you guys have seen it last, but I have probably 10 to 15 hours in just adjusting, tweaking, bending, shimming. Because even this hood, I got the thing where I can shut it with my hand and it lines up front to back. I got a video here on how I do the hinges on the previous build. So if you want to check it out, how to get your hood to shut like that, check it out here. But I'm going to keep working on it. I might throw the factory hinge back on just to see so I can tell you if it was the door or the hinge for moving forward. That way maybe we can avoid that weird shim situation, but it's going to work. But nonetheless, plenty more little tips and tricks I'm going to bring your way. Keep you motivated in your little two-car garage, making things happen, getting the best possible results. Not perfect, but very high quality or very high end, or looks like it was done at a professional shop. These little details are going to help you get to that point. So nonetheless, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, sharing with your friends, and continuously building this Project Mockingbird. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. You know, for those of you folks that stick around after the movie's over to watch the credits, to find the cool little Easter eggs at the end, well, those who stuck around this time, you're going to be happy you did. I have something I want to show you. There be the reproduction hinge, and here be the original hinge back on the door. You see something here? I have a 1.5 mile gap now between the two of them. So I'm going to say the problem is the hinge. So going forward, these work great for 68, not so much for 69.